This series is all about my journey into backend development. The purpose of this video is to share my understanding while also providing a quick overview for someone who might need it. I have a solid foundation in front-end development, but I'm new to backend, so some explanation might not be like perfectly precise. There are 13 sections in getting started, and in this video, I will be giving you an overview for those topics. Like first, in the first section, we have introduction to Node.js. Node.js is a fun JavaScript runtime environment primarily used for running JavaScript locally and powering the backend of web-based application. Different browsers use different JavaScript engines. Mozilla uses SpiderMonkey. Safari uses JavaScript Core, which is also called Nitro. Chrome and current version of Microsoft Edge uses V8 engine. Previously, Microsoft Edge was using Chakra JS engine, but currently it uses V8 engine, same as Google Chrome. Node.js also uses the V8 engine, executing JavaScript outside the browser. Means same environment that you get in the browser, you are also getting outside the browser. Means in your local environment after installing Node.js. When Node.js performs an operations such as reading from the network, accessing a database, or interacting with the file system, it handled the process very efficiently. Node.js run concurrently, which means like if a task takes time, it temporarily pauses the task while executing others. Once the paused task is ready, it resumes the execution. This allows handling thousands of concurrent connections without making a system unresponsive. Full stack perks like JavaScript for for the front end plus JavaScript for the back end equals a seamless full stack application, like which is like dream of the front end developers. Because like if you want to develop some JavaScript, some front end application or website, that at some point in your career you have to learn JavaScript is that important. And getting to code in the same language as your front end, like it's a very like perky thing. Node.js version includes legacy supports like the that ECM script which will get in 2019 and continuously from 2023 to 2020. The all of the version of ECS script is like supported in the latest Node.js version, because like it supports all the legacy of its previous codes. If your client's app run in an old browser that support an outdated what can I it's about outdated ECM script version, you can also choose a compatible node version. Matching version ensures the stability of the environment and avoids syntax error or features incompatibility. Here like we can see an example of a basic Node.js application. Like we can see two things. First, a common JS file and an mjs file. A common JS is like we can use some old syntax which is like it's not like the standard of the modern ECM script, which is like we are using currently. And in the mjs means module JS, we can use like import import and export, which are not supported in the common JS. And if you like use the like require and export dot export, then you have to use normal JS. But if you are using import and export but like want to save the file, you have to use .mjs to run your program. But if you are using common JS, then node server.js will do fine. In this program we can see that host name is 127.0.0.1, which is like the local host, which is the loopback address, meaning the server will run only on your machine. Port is 3000, like, which is very common if you're like familiar with the front end. Create server callback creates an HTTP server that runs whenever the request is received. And in the callback function we can see there is like RAQ and RES. RAQ contains detail about the incoming request. RES is the response we sent back. Like, we always call RES in the end to like end our uh, like communication with the client. Or if we don't do that, the client will keep waiting. When saving and running file, we typically use .js extension instead of .mjs to avoid potential incompatibility issues. Previously, when I was working with the project, and I have seen that whenever I convert some file from JS to MJS, like to like use the latest methods and latest functionality of the ECMA ECMA scripts, uh, it like created some issue with my like in other packages, which is not like Express or like the thing I was using on my server side. But like I have seen, and just removing the mjs to JS, that I have seen some like compatibility issues. So there, and like as I said that I'm learning backend, so there might be thing that which can be handled gracefully, but at that time I was not able to. And like this is the experience that I have seen. So in upcoming videos I might be sharing my some of the projects as I learn like backend, and in those projects I will be using that .js instead of .mjs. And like the status RES status course is like 200 status course will be like everything works fine. 404 will be like page not found, and 500 is like something has occur like on the server side, some error has occurred on the server side. And in the response, like uh, here you can see that this is the thing we are sending. uh, Request is what we are receiving after making like after making call to the URL. Response is what we sending in return. So this is our response, and our status code that yes, we got your message, and we will share in a form of number which is 200. And header will be content type with a text plain. There are two content type, which application JSON and text plain. So currently we are just sending text plain. And rest dot response dot end, and hello world, like this will print hello world on the like on your page, and tell the client that the connection has been ended and your like we received your message like successfully. And like, as you see, whenever we request whenever a new request is resolved, the request event is called providing two objects: a request that http dot income message, which is this request, and the response is the http dot server response, which is this res. And this is the same thing that I explained earlier. How much JavaScript do you need to use this Node.js? Like I said previously, I am like familiar with front end, and but even if you only know JavaScript and have some experience in your like vanilla JavaScript projects, like using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to make some website, like it will be easy, because I've seen some curriculum where they in like forced to the forced to students to learn backend first, then go to front end, because if you learn backend, you are like practicing JavaScript as well as getting familiar with some of the concepts which is not theoretical. You have to learn via practice, and that's why like you have to like keep on practicing. That's why most of you can see most of the things, most of the courses, online courses that people have, they enforce to first learn backend, then go to front end. And these are the topics that I have seen, like they are very much like mid level at best. They are not that advanced, so you will be good proceeding. Difference between Node.js and browser. Like I will be mentioning some of the points, like uh, between Node.js and browsers, like common JS different environment. Both in browsers and Node.js use JavaScript, but their environment differ. In Node.js, you handle backend logic. In browser, you manage the UI and user interface, like what happened when you click a button, and like what happened when you scroll, and that and this, and some kind of animation is also like required some JavaScript uh, methodology, and that is what JavaScript function for the browser. But in locally in Node, like it can be many things. Like a full stack advantage, like I said, that if you have some knowledge in backend, and if you have some knowledge in front end, and if both of the backend and front end is coded in this similar language, it will be like very beneficial for like developing very huge amount of like variety of projects for your resume, or like for even your side projects. Ecosystem difference. Like browser works with DOM, documentation window, cookies, and web APIs, but Node.js have access to the system level features like system files, networking, and processes. One thing is environment control. Like in Node.js, you control the runtime environment. Example, um, example like selecting a specific node versions. Like in browser, user might use different browser versions, making compatibility trickier, because uh like in older systems, the browser compatibility is a major issue. So to handle this, with the help of NVM, like node version manager, you can like uh, scale down your node versions, and like hit the same compatibility as the browser JavaScript version, or is ECMAScript version, and you can build the project or work on the project that is like required at the time. Like in this tab, the key takeaways will be like Node.js backend, no DOM, has system APIs and control environment. Browser is for like front end DOM manipulation, web APIs, and multiple browsers versions. Using JavaScript for both front end back end is a major advantage for developers. Like that's for sure. The V8 engine, like when I talk about Chrome and Node, they both use same V8 JavaScript engine. V8 is the JavaScript engine that powers like both Google Chrome and Node.js, as it parses and executes JavaScript code efficiently. The DOM and Web API are not part of V8. They come from the browser environment. So you might be thinking that why V8? Like as I said that there are various uh, uh, browsers engines. Like I mentioned, uh, my Safari uses different and Mozilla uses different. Then why we are targeting V8? So V8 is a very powerful thing, very powerful JS engine, and why will be like I will tell you. Here is written that V8 is the JavaScript engine that powers Google and Chrome. Like, and V8 is a browser independent, like which has allowed it to use in Node.js since 2019. It powers desktop apps via Electron, like VS Code and Slack. The Node.js ecosystem is built on V8, enabling robust server-side JavaScript execution. Uh, the quest of performance of V8 engine will be like V8 is written in C++ and is continuously optimized for speed and efficiency. It runs on Mac, Windows, Linux, and other platforms. The competition among JavaScript engines drive faster web experiences. Originally, JavaScript was an interpreter language. Modern engines like V8 use just-in-time compilation, converting JavaScript into optimized machine code at runtime. This process is crucial for running long-running web application efficiently. Um, like before 2044, JavaScript was mainly used for small tasks like form validation and etc. Today, it powers a full-scale application exam Google Maps, Reacts, and others. Just-in-time compilation significantly speed up the execution, making modern web apps very feasible to like develop and work on. Like next, now we have introduction to the npm Node Package Manager. So, as we know that Node Package Manager um, is a standard package manager for Node.js. It's developed in 2002. Around 2.1 million packages were reported to be listed on the npm registry, and like there are some other packages like yarn and like else. There are other packages also, but the scalability and the availability of packages that npm supports, like most yes, yarn and npm are alternative to npm cli, and you can check them. But the thing is that why node is very popular, because like when a developer approaches some packages, the main thing, or it makes sure that it should support or npm that out of the box. Yarn and npm might take some time, but npm will support like as soon as the package is live. And the syntax for installing any npm package is just like npm install and the package name. Like if you have experience with front end, you will understand that while making a web project while using byte, you have seen that there will be a thing called uh, npm create byte at the rate latest. This will be uh, like create your like your web project in byte environment, and it will ask you to install like to switch the directory go into the white project and press and input npm install. This means that that package.json, which is already included in that white environment, will install all the dependency which is required to run your white environment. And uh, like while developing front end application, you will like some see that there are some packages which is very important, or very important, or like generally important to make your development very easy, but it's not necessary for that packages to be in your program. So you install them as a dev dependencies. Dev dependency is like while, for example, when we are running a node server, we can like run with the normal command like node server.js, but there is a package named node1, uh, which is like it will continuously listen to the port which is like node is like server is active on. And if there is some like calls and changes in the like servers, and the call has been hit with http like methods, node 1 will automatically refreshes and update to the latest call. But like as I said, it's very helpful to the developer, but it is not like very necessary for the program. That's why we will install as a dev dependencies and many other. So like we have multiple things, dot dev dot no save, which like install but does not entry in the package, save optional, install but the entry to the package but optional dependencies, no optional dependency, prevent optional dependency from being installed. Like there are very like various things that we can use. And we have also like uh, shorthand symbols for that. And when you're installed, and you might think that what version of the package you have installed, and the version of the package you want to work with is different, you can use an npm update command to update your all of the dependency, or you can target a very specific package name and update that. So like previously I mentioned about like white, right? That npm create white at the rate latest, which is which will create an environment for the white. At this you can also see that npm install package name at the rate version. So if you want to install some package which have a specific version, like very uh, like specifically required by you or your project, you can mention in this format. And you can as I said that there are scripts. So they like you can see like start dev node node live server deployment and start node live server deployment production. The thing is that node node wants you to run in a production environment. Most of the websites, when you build the production version of your websites, uh, it will be more optimized than your development version, because the packages are built in that way. So it is mm, like suggested or like prescribed to build your server in the production environment from the get go. Because if you will do that, then there will be some like advantage of like caching and other things, like express. There are some features of express which does not like fully manifest in development environment. You have to use in a production environment, and then you can use those like uh, features of express.js, which is like which is built on top of the Node.js to make all those syntax very simple and more like that. Now we have ECMS script 15 and beyond. So as I said that after 2013 and 2020, all the ECMS script has been like supported, and as we know that Node is a Node support legacy, so all of the things are like supported by Node from the get go. Like the latest Node will be supporting the previous version of Node, and like uh, and on. And the points in this like in this content will be like uh, w- there is, you can see the mention of harmony, why you should use a harmony flag. Previously the harmonic flag enabled experimental features, now it only activates staged features. Avoiding using harmony since features may change or break in future updates. Wait for the official stable releases before new features. So experiment features might work now, but might not be added into LTS form, means long term support. So it is advised to not use that way. So you should install the long term support for version of Node to build your projects, and in that long term support every method that you will get will be supported and will be like continued in the next version of Node, and that will be give you an upper hand and will not break your code. Node.js and the difference between development and production. uh, like there is no difference between development and product in Node.js, and there is no specific versions you need to apply to make Node.js work in the production configuration. However, a few libraries in npm recognize that node environment variable and default it to development settings. Always run your node with the node is equal to production set. Like previously said, there are some packages which supports like which works better and efficient in a production environment, not in development environment. But the default behavior of a node and like node projects is to run in a development environment. So like in short, like the thing is that what you can do, you can mention the project, mention the development or the node environment directly in your package.json, or you can like manipulate your environment variables, and then you can change your production environment for node. But changing your environment variable will be a permanent change, and it will continue for all of your node process, which is not recommended. What you can do is you can make a .env file. Like you can see a node env, right, environment for environment variable. There is a package named .env which like allows you to use a uh, .env format, and every file which is in that .env format can be accepted into uh, into node files. And this will make your very like code very generic. So you can see that process.env node env is equal to development, and node env is equal to production. So in what environment that you want to develop, you can manipulate with this .env. Node.js with web assembly. Like web like you can know like assembly is very like low level language, but node is not. Node is a very high level language. So there are things that web assembly comes between the low level and the high level, and which it is very highly compatible with Node.js to optimize your uh, web app. In simple words, WebAssembly allows running C++, and Rust code inside your Node.js. WebAssembly modules, like which is have extension of .wasm, can run faster than JavaScript in certain cases. In Node.js, WebAssembly is especially useful to perform critical tasks. Although WebAssembly cannot access the operating system directly through WASI, like in like directly, but through WASI enabled, it can do that. This WebAssembly code in your Node environment, like there the use cases of this WebAssembly will be like in developing gaming. They're developing backend for gaming, which heavily utilize WebAssembly, multimedia, cryptography, and scientific computing. Those uses WebAssembly because it's in a very sweet spot, which utilize all the facilities that Node provides, like manipulating networks and playing with it, as well as some low level features like that Rust C++ have. You can see that this WebAssembly can be described as WebAssembly plus Node.js, and the deployment will be a very high performing JavaScript applications. There are some companies like Epic Games, which have some games which is developed in Unreal engines, uses WebAssembly. The Figma, which is used to like develop some uh, design for your web or mobile apps. Google Earth and Canva, these are the application that uses this WebAssembly to like maintain their code bases. Debugging your Node.js. You can start debugging using the dash dash inspect switch, which listen to the local host. In Node.js 7 earlier, this activates the legacy debugger API. In Node.js 8 and later, it activates the inspector API. Never make the debugger port public or bind it to 0.0.0.0. Exposing it allow you to run allow anyone to access your public IP, or go to this web IP that you mentioned, and run any arbitrary JavaScript code that will like uh, make your local system like in a very compromised situation. If necessary, if necessary that you want to use your system locally and run the debugger for your Node application, then you should do while using a firewall to protect your public you to protect your debugger feature in public IP. A recommended approach for this remote debugging is use SSH tunnels. To start a custom debugger for your Node application, use node debug script.js. And what happened, uh, like uh, like if you have some pre-built or some like uh, custom made debugging for your Node.js, you can made a file, and with the help of this custom debugger, you can like connect your Node application with that custom debugger and like run it. And this method is like one of the most safest way to debug your code. And there are multiple tools like Chrome DevTools, like Mozilla have it, VS Code have it, and JetBrains have it, and all use this flags. And first, like previously, it enables like some legacy API, but now it enables inspector API. And with with the help of SSH, like you can use it remotely. Profiling node applications. The concept of profiling, like in simple word, I'll be saying that profiling is like checking the health and efficiency of your node JS in real time. It helps identifying slow parts, memory leaks, and high CPU usage, so you can make your app run faster and smoother. How how profiling works? Like the Node.js profiler tracks what your application is doing in real time. It measures how long the function takes to run and how much CPU memory they use. It records logs that they can be analyzed to pinpoint performance issues. Examples, like if users complains that your app is slow, you can run the built-in profiler while using the where uh, yeah, while using the command like node dash dash profile app.js or server.js, like which is your default file. You can analyze your logs to find out that which function uses more CPU uses and optimize that, and target that function and optimize that. Fix the issue by optimizing your slow functions, replacing the synchronous functions with asynchronous one. Retesting your app to verify the performance has improved or not. And you might say that profiling sounds very difficult. Like as you see the documentation, it might like seem very like tempting, but actually it's not. If your node app, it's very demanding. It's just the result. You can see the percent of requests will served within certain time. These are the results that come after like using the prof flag to check to run the profiling on your node applications, and these are the result for that. Profiling is just generally to low to mid level difficulty of your if your of your node.js application, especially useful when your app process large amount of data, handles high traffic, and uses API that respond slowly. Fetch using a fetch API and undc in node.js. uh, like there are some features like the version of fetch API that browser provides and the version of API that uh, your local machine, your local node, or we can say the features of fetch in browsers and in local, it's like in some places they are different, but when undc is like introduced, it resolves most of the things, or I think that all of the things, plus it's made some like optimization which is very a good choice for high performance applications. In this code you can see that the response is made to the like the basic get usage, that what you generally see in your browser. We made a response to this. We get the data, we get data in a form of promise, then we will convert in the JSON and we will print the JSON. And the same with the post. Like in post we will have some, we will mention the method, we will mention the header, we will send the data in the form of JSON, like this is, you can see that body is in JSON format. That's why it is mentioned in an application slash JSON format. And and the body we will stringify uh, this JSON, because uh, it supports string, not objects. That's why we have to stringify this. And by c- and by customizing the fetch with undc. Now we can do this with undc. And in this we can you can see that we'll introduce pool. And with pool you can use connection for the connection to the same server, which can improve performance. Like if your application api is hitting regularly, and instead of make the user fetch it again and again, which can increase the load on your server, you can use pool and keep the network active. And it will lead to a very smooth exchange between the client and the server. And you can also mention number of connection that you want to be mm, maintain active in a in a single time, that as 10 connections will be active in one go. And this is example when this is an example where we are hitting Olama API and downloading and running a Mistral LLM model. Native socket client in Node.js. Since Node version 21, the WebSocket API has been improved using undc library, enabling native WebSocket support without needing external libraries like WS or Socket.io. As of Node 22 version, currently, which is the most stable or long term support version, this feature is stable and for production use. WebSockets offer real-time two-way communication over a single TCP connection. Unlike HTTP request response pattern, WebSocket enables a full duplex communication, which is very good for live chat applications. Allow both client and server to send data independently without waiting for a request. And the WebSocket connection types will be like WS. We have HTTPS and HTTP. HTTPS is not secure, but generally we use it. But HTTPS is a secure one. In the same thing we will have like with WebSockets. In WebSockets like HTTP we have WS, which is unsecured WebSocket connection, which generally happen on port 80. And then we will have WSS, which is secured WebSocket connection, which is happen on 443. Default port is 443. WebSocket sends only string or binary data such as array buffer. That is why we have to convert it into JSON with the help of JSON or stringify. So object must be converted to JSON using stringify before transmission. If you want to build a live chat application like Discord, WhatsApp, web or Facebook Messenger, WebSocket are the best choice. Generally, WebSockets are used over HTTPS connection when we have some live connection between the client endpoint, and that which continuously needs some interaction and live exchange. So like their WebSocket server and WebSocket clients are very useful. If you want to build a live chat application like Discord, WhatsApp, or Facebook Messenger, WebSockets are the best choice. If real-time delivery isn't necessary, consider using REST APIs or pooling to avoid unnecessary complexity. And next will be like security's best practices. I have noted some points, like I've gone through each of them, and I've noticed that there are some each points which are mentioned, and there are some procedure to migrate it from migrated the old practices to the good practices. And the topics will be like denial of services, DNS rebinding, exposure of sensitive information, PHP request smuggling, timing attacks, malicious third party modules, supply chain attacks, memory access violation, mon- monkey patching, prototype pollution attacks, and uncontrolled search path elements. And like to conclude this section, it's like always validate your user input to prevent injection attacks. Use HTTP and secure headers to protect communications. Monitor dependency regularly for vulnerabilities. Follow the principle of least privilege. Grant only the permission that are necessary, and enable logging and monitoring to detect anomalies. By implementing these practices, you can significantly enhance your security of your node applications. And with that, we just concluded all the 13 sections of this getting started. I will try to like read some others topics, not just Node.js and other documentation, and try to bring some overview of that. If you have some like issues with my uh, like accent or my some like fumbling of words, then I apologize for that. Thank you for listening, and thank you for staying with me.